What a mess. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to my garage, or temporary garage. This is what I've been using to kind of keep everything, the mess, out of the boat that I've been working on. But if you guys remember a couple months ago, actually I guess I don't even know when I posted that video. So the last video I posted on restoring this Gambler was 2.5 months ago. It was December 23rd. And that's right around the time when it really got cold here. It got really cold and it stayed really cold until like late February. So the John boat is currently getting a facelift with Matt, which you guys are going to see tomorrow. This whole week I've basically been able to work on the Gambler, which has been awesome, and it looks pretty sweet. So in today's video I'm going to give you a quick walkthrough, show you what I've done. We're going to do the last few pieces of Seadek. I'll show you some of the mistakes that I've made, and I can give you a couple tips hopefully that'll help you if you decide to go with something like this. But let's get out of this messy van and take a look at the boat. So I've still got 3 pieces of Seadek, actually 4. I need to do a little bit more under the console, but it's almost done. This has taken me the last 2.5 days to get it where it's at. And prior to putting the Seadek down, I went ahead and painted all of the lids, or the hatches, as you can see here. So all of them are painted this matte black color underneath and on the edges. And I left the top somewhat clean, so I'd be able to stick that Seadek down and it wouldn't have paint to rip off, basically. But it turned out pretty good. I mean, I'm happy with it. Got a few boo-boos I need to go through and fix up. Overall, I'm very pleased with how it came out. There's, again, you know, a couple spots within the Seadek that I made some mistakes. Cut short in a few places. I found out later that I had a mismatched color that I cut for the front deck, which you can see pretty good. It's pretty obvious. This left side is significantly lighter than the right, and honestly I like that darker color a little bit more, but it is what it is. If I have enough left over, I'm gonna go ahead and fix this front panel and try to make it the dark one, or I guess I need to take a look at everything and see what will make it look best, but I just want it to match a little better. Now this may be something that over time fades and kind of matches a little bit better, but I'm not sure. And again, if I have extra, I'm going to go through and replace it. But this, again, has taken me about, actually probably a week, because with painting all the hatches, the hinges, I did some plumbing work. Like, I replaced all the Livewell pumps, which I think are going to be awesome, and a little bit more cleaning. It's basically coming up on a week's worth of work. But I'm pretty stoked so far. Let me know what you guys think about this. I know it's not everybody's cup of tea, but I really like it. And I think the black and tan looks really good. I worked pretty hard to keep all my lines straight. I've used different styles of foam decking for like the last year, and I really personally really like it over carpet. It doesn't stay wet, it dries out really quick, it's not slippery, and I think it looks pretty cool too. If you guys are wondering exactly what I'm using, I'll leave a link for that down in the description below. It's the brand Seadek. I just ordered the plain faux teak sheets, and it's 40 inches by 80 inches. I want to say it's 6 millimeters too, but most of the decking is done. Again, just a few more pieces. I'm gonna do these 3 lids, and then this one piece of the boat here and pedestal, but I first need to go through and clean this piece up a little bit more, and I'll walk you guys through the process. Oh, real quick, while we're here, I did change my Livewell pumps out. So again, if you saw the last video, I had some crazy plumbing going on here. There's like 2 aerators. It had another pump coming out of it that ran through this cooler. It was just an absolute mess. But I think what I'm gonna do is just get like a plug for this section. I do need to reseal it. They're pretty loose on both sides. This one's not too bad. But to replace these, Super, super easy. Basically, you just take the old one out, clean the area up really good. I used acetone and actually sanded it around just a little bit so I had a super clean surface. And then I used PL Marine adhesive sealant. It's pretty close to 4200. I mean, it looks good to me. It's on there pretty solid, and I don't think there's going to be any sort of leaking from there. The one that I'm mainly concerned about, or not really concerned because I think I did a good job on it, but the two Livewell pumps in the back that are in the bilge. So, I mean, they're just two basically 1-inch holes going through the bottom of the hull, and you just do it exactly like this. Put the adhesive sealant on the cap, slide it through. I put it on the threads too, so it had a nice seal all the way through. Then you just screw that plastic piece down. Actually, I might be able to show you that too. So I guess the first time I take the boat out, I'll definitely just back it in and make sure I'm not taking on any water back there, because people almost sink their boats, or I'm sure people have sunk their boats from those being installed incorrectly. So for the Livewell fills, I used 1,000 gallons per hour pumps, and then for the aerators, 750 gallons per hour. I think that'll be pretty sufficient. And I've still got to go through and wire all these up. I need to actually redo the wiring in the entire boat, like it's gutted. I don't remember in the last video if I still had some wiring going on, but literally the only wires in this boat right now are the new Livewell pumps or fills and a water pressure gauge wire that's coming from the motor. That's it. Everything else has been stripped. Like, it is completely wireless. So I've already ordered some wire. I've got it in the van right now, along with a Blue Seas fuse panel. And I think I'm gonna try to rig it up in this general area somewhere that's easily accessible. And I think it's gonna be able to clean it up a lot more. There were 2 wiring harnesses in here and it was just an absolute mess. So I just said, screw it. I'm gonna rip the whole thing out and redo it myself. I don't know how that's gonna go, but we'll find out. All right, let's finish up this deck. Not the best, but not the worst. With this piece that I just cleaned off, it was already a little bit rough. The fiberglass had like worn down in a couple places. So I used an orbital sander and the oscillating tool to get the rest of the glue and old hydroturf off the back. That is definitely not something that I would recommend. It's probably highly frowned upon because it will mess up your glass, but this was already pretty roughed up and it's gonna have Seadek over it. So theoretically, these probably should be completely screwed down and latched up so I can see exactly where they're at, but for right now I'm basically just using the hinge, lining it up with the holes on the boat and then the holes on the hatch and seeing where it sits, and then I'll just go off of the lines from there. So if I were just to throw it on right here, boom or boom, and I go off of this, and then when I put it on and it's in a completely different orientation, your lines are going to be messed up. So just a little tip for you there for sure. Got everything lined up. This is another one of those that is very uneven, but that's fine. We will make it work. So I'm going to start with this right hatch here. And again, I did the back hatch first, so I had lines to go off of, and I thought it would make it a little bit easier. What I'm gonna do is take a look at the Seadek first, and we'll call this half a plank. And then I have 10 planks after that, or 10 and a little bit of change. But every sheet of Seadek on the edges has one of these half planks. So I know this is an edge piece. I'm gonna use that same edge piece that I cut this with for this, so it all matches up. It's the same color and should be pretty easy. This is the other half of the sheet that I used from cutting the back hatch. You can see what I'm talking about here on these corners, how it has that half plank. This side, same thing, half plank. Biggest thing with this, make sure you're using a super sharp, fresh, brand new blade. It makes cutting it so easy, and use a straight edge. I've been using this piece of angle aluminum, works perfectly fine. Cutting it straight is not too hard. Before I'm throwing this thing on, I clean this down with mineral spirits. You're supposed to throw isopropyl alcohol down as well to make sure it's like super clean. I don't have any on hand anymore after doing all this, but I think it'll be fine. It's pretty clear. Pretty straight. Perfect. There you go. Not bad. So I still got a little bit to do. We need to finish up under the console, add a little bit of Seadek as trim around the boat, just in random areas, and who knows what else I'll end up doing with all the leftovers. I ended up using 6 sheets to finish the boat. Probably could have got away with less, but also I did make a couple of unfortunate mistakes, but you know, it comes with the territory, I guess. Still have a ridiculous amount to do to this boat, all of the electrical. I need to add all the hardware back and hopefully wrap it. I'm not 100% sure when that's going to happen, but hopefully we'll be able to get it done.